eve of the year 2076, the boundary between reality and fantasy blurred as a game-like scenario descended upon the world. The arrival of countless perilous dungeons, teeming with hordes of monsters, marked the beginning of an unprecedented crisis. Powerful beings mercilessly decimated the human population, pushing humanity to the verge of extinction. Amidst the chaos, divine talents were bestowed upon select individuals, enabling them to awaken as formidable hunters. These hunters eventually turned the tide, rescuing the world from the monstrous onslaught and ushering in a new era where strength ruled supreme, and survival of the fittest became the undisputed law. Hunters were thus compelled to constantly enhance their abilities to maintain their positions in this newly established order. In their quest for dominance, these hunters ventured into the depths of various dungeons, confronting formidable bosses, securing treasures, and advancing their levels. This relentless pursuit of power and wealth signified the dawn of the era of global hunters. During this era, the establishment of the Hunter's Square marked a significant development. This grandiose structure, renowned for its imposing height and the aura it radiated, presented a preliminary challenge to those who sought to embark on a pivotal journey within society. To gain entry, individuals were required to ascend 1,000 steps, a symbolic trial preceding the awakening of their hunter class. Successfully entering the Hunter's Square allowed them the opportunity to awaken their potential and commence their path as esteemed members of the community. However, not every hunter hits the jackpot, and Su Yang is a perfect example. Walking down the grand staircase of the Hunter's Square, he couldn't help but feel disappointed. He had hoped for a special or rare class, but ended up as a warrior, the most basic kind you can get. His stats weren't anything to brag about either, with his strength at 12 only, and both speed and spirit is at 10. And warriors like him doesn't have a great start. They often find themselves at a disadvantage in close-quarters combat, and face a higher risk of injury or death. Despite investing considerable time and effort into their training, warriors like Su Yang often feel their contributions are overshadowed by those with more specialized abilities. As Su Yang was trying to wrap his head around becoming a basic warrior, a useless shit who has nothing better to do than strut around with parasites on his back decided to approach Su Yang and start throwing shades at him, as he had heard how Su Yang had just awakened as a warrior, and that he should be happy since it is what he deserves. A nobody orphan who couldn't afford a clue, let alone a spot in any respectable guild. Basically, calling him the perfect candidate for grunt work. But Su Yang, having none of it, hits him with a quick clapback, literally clapping his hands like he's trying to catch a fly that ain't there, stopping Wang Fei from yapping, and then he pretended to congratulate him on becoming an ice mage, a class as rare as a good hair day for Wang Fei, while sneakily dissing how mages turn into glass cannons after their awakening, strong in magic but as sturdy as a wet paper bag in a fight. So if he's so courageous to provoke him, he should run them hands because he would gladly give him the smoke if he desperately wants to. But as Su Yang expected, Wang Fei can only muster up some weak threats, while hiding behind his squad instead of squaring up to him like a man. And in the midst of an escalating standoff, the air was thick with anticipation as everyone braced for what seemed to be an inevitable clash. However, the dynamics shifted dramatically when one of the members of Wang Fei's group caught sight of something that instantly demanded everyone's attention. Turning their heads, the crowd was taken aback to find themselves in the presence of the Spirit Hunt Guild's raiding team. This wasn't just any guild, but an A-tier powerhouse known throughout East Spirit City for its formidable achievements and influence. The crowd's initial shock quickly morphed into excitement as they recognized Zhao Ming, the vice president of the Spirit Hunt Guild. Zhao Ming, a figure usually seen gracing the guild's posters and promotional material, stood there in the flesh, his presence commanding the space around him. Seizing the moment, Wang Fei stepped forward with a mix of eagerness and ambition. He approached the raiding team, full of praise for the Spirit Hunt Guild and openly expressing his desire to become a part of their ranks. He didn't hold back in showcasing his rare ice mage profession, hoping to impress and secure a spot in the guild. Initially, his request was declined by another guild member of the Spirit Hunt Guild, stopping his advancement and redirected him to apply at their recruitment crew down the stairs. However, Zhao Ming respects the hustle that Wang Fei had just demonstrated, and the strategic advantage his control skill could bring to the guild, and so he decided to give Wang Fei a recruitment card. This gesture not only highlighted Wang Fei's potential value to the guild, but also served as a testament to the Spirit Hunt Guild's openness to scouting and embracing new talent. Witnessing this interaction, others in the vicinity were quick to jump on the bandwagon. They began voicing their own aspirations to join the Spirit Hunt Guild, each citing their unique professions and abilities in hopes of catching the raiding team's attention. However, the raiding team made it abundantly clear that their current mission was not centered on recruitment. They advised all hopefuls to follow the guild's official recruitment process, emphasizing that proper channels and procedures needed to be adhered to. Their response was delivered with the kind of efficiency and professionalism that left no room for further discussion or negotiation. But before they could leave, Su Yang asked if they are also interested about warriors. But he was only met with disdain, as if he just asked a stupid question and wasted their time to even consider talking to a warrior. This encounter, brief as it may have been, left a lasting impression on everyone present. It showcased the prestige and selectiveness of the Spirit Hunt Guild, while also highlighting the competitive nature of the world they inhabited. But for Su Yang, this was yet another reminder of the challenges that lay ahead. There was definitely an isolation treatment for warriors like him, and it seemed to garner no interest from the elite guild. In a world where strength and the rarity of one's profession determined one's future, Su Yang couldn't help but feel that his fate was already sealed, given the general reluctance of even lower-tier guilds to accept warriors. But as he was in deep thought, Su Yang overheard why the vice president of Spirit Hunt Guild was here in the first place, and it was because they are actually planning to raid the Black Dragon's lair today, and they are using the teleportation gate inside the Hunter Square to get to the entrance of the dungeon. This was a surprise to Yusang, because the Black Dragon's lair is the largest S-tier dungeon in City C. It not only has numerous small monsters, but it is also filled with powerful elite creatures. Even though death in this world doesn't mean immediate demise, instead, one loses levels in experience until one level drops to 0. The heavy competition between top guild is at all-time high, so the risk of losing a level and rare equipment should really be considered. There is also the most terrifying boss that awaits in the Black Dragon's lair, the level 99 Black Flamewing's Athos, and Su Yang had heard that even the strongest S-rank guilds have fallen at its feet. But they say the Spirit Hunt Guild has a large number of hunters at 4th Transcendence or higher, and they've never failed a raid, so Su Yang assumed that maybe they really can do it. But thinking about what others will accomplish really bummed him out. Thinking the harsh reality that he may be destined to be a pauper in this life, trampled under the feet of these powerful beings. But before despair could fully take hold of him, Su Yang was startled by a sudden notification. Lifting his gaze, he was met with a system interface proclaiming him a perfect soul host, indicating that the part-time system would soon be bound to him. The revelation was astonishing, but nothing prepared him for what came next. Upon reopening his eyes, Su Yang found himself transformed into the level 99 Black Dragon, Athos, Wing of the Black Flame. His new form boasted an incredible health pool of 5 million, alongside staggering strength, speed, and spirit values. He was even equipped with talents that seemed straight out of a legend. The dragon bloodline gave him an incredible advantage, making him nearly impervious to both physical and magical attacks with an 80% immunity. His innate mastery over the destructive black flames allowed him to unleash powerful fire-based attacks without any cost, dealing massive magical damage to his adversaries. Not to mention his dragon suppression ability, which lowered the attributes of any creature below his level by 20%, giving him an overwhelming edge in battles. Moreover, his arsenal of skills was nothing short of awe-inspiring. The Dragon Blast could inflict damage equal to 300% of his strength, while his Dragon's Roar had the power to stun all beings within a 300-meter radius with lower spirit values than his for 5 seconds. The Dragon's Eye skill granted him the ability to survey any area within his domain without needing direct line of sight, adding an element of omnipresence within his territory. The realization of his capabilities left Su Yang in a state of shock and disbelief. Unlike a typical level 99 player who might excel in one attribute, the Black Flame Dragon's attributes were off the charts, with over 3,000 in strength alone. Coupled with his resistances and unique skills, Su Yang felt an unparalleled sense of power coursing through him, a feeling so exhilarating that he couldn't help but release a mighty roar, a primal expression of his newfound might. Despite knowing that his transformation into Athos, the Black Dragon, was temporary, the thrill of experiencing such power was intoxicating. He understood that if he could leverage this power to defeat other players, the experience and strength gained could be transferred to his original body. This realization filled him with excitement and determination. Even if his original form was considered the least desirable among professions, this opportunity could catapult him to new heights, allowing him to level up rapidly and redefine his destiny in this world dominated by the strong. In the midst of his awe, however, Su Yang noticed the monsters in front of him were clearly affected by something. On closer inspection, he realized they were reeling from the after effects of his Dragon Roar skill, which he had unleashed unintentionally. Among them, a hooded figure stood out, addressing him as king and begging for mercy. It dawned on Su Yang that these monsters recognized him as their leader, presumably because he was currently embodying the Black Dragon, and so, he acted what he assumed a superior being would do, look down at his subordinates as inferior beings, and command them to rise as he no longer uses his roar. After that, the hooded monster praises him for having such power even at this early stage, and if he reaches maturity, he would undoubtedly crush the human world. With this, Su-young was reminded that the dragon he possesses right now is just at the juvenile stage. And this is surprising since everyone knows that a boss in an instance have fixed level, but it seems like it wasn't the case for this black dragon, for its title suggested that he has a chance to gain level. This revelation piqued Su-young's interest, but his attention soon shifted to a captivating sight. A beautiful elf imprisoned within a cage. Her elegant silver hair and striking crimson eyes contrasted sharply with her distressed state, struggling to breathe under the influence of Su-young's dragon aura. When she noticed his gaze, she demanded her release, threatening retribution from the elven race. However, Su-young was more fascinated than intimidated. Since the merging of the game world with reality, various mythical races had emerged, and elves, known for their seclusion within instances, were among them. Encountering an elf was rare, and Su-young was captivated by the opportunity to interact with one firsthand. However, their conversation was cut short by the sudden ripple of a spatial disturbance, a sign that a player was about to enter the scene. The elf, interpreting this as the arrival of a savior, openly taunted the dragon, believing her freedom was imminent. She was taken aback when the dragon, whom she expected to ignore her jibes, turned its attention towards her. This unusual behavior puzzled her, as dragons typically disregarded such provocations. However, Su-young had more pressing concerns than engaging in banter with the elf. He was aware that the Spirit Hunt Guild was on its way, and despite their reputation for unbeaten strategies, Su-young doubted their ability to overcome him in his current formidable state. Still, he reminded himself not to underestimate his opponents. Overconfidence could lead to defeat, and the Spirit Hunt Guild wouldn't dare face him without a solid plan. To get a better understanding of the guild's approach, Su-young activated his Dragon's Eye ability, allowing him to oversee the guild's movements from afar. He quickly spotted the guild's main assault team, led by Lei Shan, a level 99 Thunderstorm Master. Accompanying Lei Shan were the guild's elite members, Zhao Ming, a level 95 Storm Archer, Qian Yuan, a level 96 Healing Paladin, and Li Dan, the level 98 Holy Shield Master. They were all marching towards his lair with a single goal in mind, to defeat the Black Dragon Athos and elevate their guild's status to the 5th stage of transformation. Su-young couldn't help but respect their boldness, yet he was curious to see how long their confidence would hold up against his minions. Thus, the guild's advance was soon challenged by a swarm of flying magic wyverns. But Lei Shan, who was completely unfazed by these lesser creatures, calmly ordered his tanks to lead the charge while the rest of the guild used fire attacks to maximize their output, which his guild members followed thoroughly, and with this, they completely dispatched the wyverns effortlessly without halting their march. Meanwhile, Su-young was duly impressed by the Spirit Hunt Guild's prowess and coordination, recognizing them as the formidable force they were known to be. Realizing that his lesser minions had barely made the guild break a sweat, Su-young decided it was time to up the ante. He summoned a dragon warrior, a behemoth that towered over the battlefield, causing even the seasoned members of the Spirit Hunt Guild to freeze momentarily in awe and apprehension. Even Lei Shan wasn't an exception. He was momentarily taken aback by the dragon warrior's sudden appearance and impressive capabilities. Still, he quickly organized his guild for defense. The dragon warrior, matching even the guild's elite in strength, presented a new level of threat with its ability to teleport short distances, catching the guild off guard and nearly overwhelming their DPS units. In a critical moment, Li Dan activated his Divine Light Shield barrier, thwarting the dragon warrior's assault and protecting his fellow guild members. While Zhao Ming seized control in the chaos, ordering the ranged attackers to retreat and the melee fighters to engage. His strategic use of the Storm Arrow skill was pivotal, taking down the elite dragon warrior and demonstrating the guild's resilience and strategic flexibility in the face of unexpected challenges. Despite the Spirit Hunt Guild's success, Su-young remained composed. This just proved to him that an elite monster of that level could definitely challenge the guild. But the elf, on the other hand, tried to mock him again for even attempting to send his lackeys to do his bidding just to die like that. Little did she knew, he had a few more of those elite for him to command, completely surprising the elf yet again. As Su-young released 6 more elite dragons into the fray, the guild faced an unprecedented situation, scaring all the members of the guild. Even their elite units didn't know what to do, as there were no records that the dragon would send units after them even before encountering it, so it was definitely a strange occurrence. Still, Lei Shan remained calm, because to him, they are all but just elite monsters, and he specialized on dealing with elites, and so with his leadership alone, he is confident that they could overcome this, and due to their trust and respect to their leader, the guild members steeled their resolve and listened. And Lei Shan then commanded to reform their ranks, prioritize healing the tanks, as they would maintain aggro until the battle ends. Combining this tactic with their raw power, they managed to overpower the new threats. Meanwhile, Suyang watched and was surprised by the outcome. Initially, he thought that using elite monsters and catch them by surprise would be enough to drive them away, but it seems like it wasn't the case. They are more tenacious than he thought. But still, he can't really understand why they are so eager to challenge him. It was no doubt they are strong, but they aren't strong enough to defeat him yet, and even the elite monsters that he sent made them struggle, unless they have an unused cards that will turn the tides in their favor. But as he was in deep thought, he was surprised to notice that the guild had decided to go to the other direction. This was such an unexpected thing, as they are just few steps away before they meet him. This prompted him to assume that there must be some secrets hidden in the direction the guild was heading. Utilizing his dragon vision, he discovered they were heading towards the Dragon Slayer's tomb. Inside it, there was a glowing item that caught his attention. It was the Dragon Slayer's heart, a quest item capable of negating dragon talents. Realizing the threat this posed, a surge of rage overtook Suyang, and his subordinates was startled yet again, asking him if he was okay. But he couldn't care less what they asked, as his mind was more preoccupied of the fact that what's happening right now is just like the strategies in what happens in games, where a boss with almost invincible resistance was weakened by the players through certain mechanism or items. And if that item allows player ignore his talent, then there is indeed a possibility that he will be defeated. But now that he knows this, he wouldn't just stand and wait for them to acquire this item. And so, with a powerful flap of his wing, he left his lair. The sight of him taking first really made the monsters rally in excitement. Their king taking action could only mean victory, so they cheered as he leaves. And even the elf was taken aback by this sudden change of attitude of the dragon, because the dragon usually waits for adventurers to get near his lair, and never leaves early. And the way that it reacts was much more concerning, as if the dragon was in a rage, leaving the area with intense speed, breaking the sound barrier and creating a shockwave that even the ground collapsed. Meanwhile, as the Spirit Hunt Guild continued their march through the instance, Lei Shan expressed frustration at the unexpected challenges they had encountered since entering. This wasn't in the guide that were given to them. Hearing this, Zhao Ming speculated that the heavenly mechanism pavilion that gave them their guide might have deceived them. Lei Shan, however, remained confident in the pavilion's reputation and the authenticity of their strategy, especially when he had exchanged this strategy using his universe ring, which Zhao Ming understood, so he dropped the subject. But since there were too many uncertainties that happened in this raid, Qingwen raised concerns about potentially alerting the Black Dragon if they faced another unexpected situation, to which Lei Shan dismissed these worries, since the Black Dragon is just a boss in an instance with power, and it's complacent as the guide had stated. It is but a lazy, overpowered lizard. As long as they don't initiate an attack, he is confident that it won't leave its lair, and they really shouldn't worry. This dragon is just a stepping stone for their guild, and now that it has caused so much damage to their guild, he promises to take it all back from it. Qian Yuan, on the other hand, was enticed by other things, because as long as they complete Elf Maiden's Easter egg, not only they can obtain a pass to the Elven Kingdom, but the Elf Maiden will also obey their commands. And Lei Shan quite understand the needs of his men, so he promises to have the authority with the elf, as long as they defeat the dragon first. But their planning was abruptly interrupted, when Qian Yuan spotted a large silhouette in the sky. Initially, they mistaken it for a small flying dragon monster, which wasn't a threat by any means, but still.